We're going to talk about sex magic. Yeah. And part of what I think is so important about this sex magic talk is, like I keep saying, it's less about sex and more about magic. But I mean, it is about both. But it's like, it's so taboo when we put the word sex into things, and people are like, and I'm like, no, 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 no. This is like a reclamation. This is a rediscovery. And I think I'm just going to launch into this really quickly because you turned me on to sex magic when I was in my death portal, like when I was in the depths of my grief, dark night soul. And you were like, hey, and I was like, I think I might be energetically coming back to life. And you were like, hey, how about this? And me leaning into sex magic practices has literally changed the course of my life. It's brought my service online. It's reconnected me with my feminine. It's awoken so much of the priestess codes within me. It's put me back in pulse of my manifestation, of my connection to Mama Gaia, my true purpose on the planet. It's how I clear my energy now. It's how I reclaim my essence. It's how I manifest. I mean, literally, the pulse of that awareness has brought me back to life after dying, really energetically. So
yeah, it was so powerful and profound to witness you in that place and to watch the process and the journey unfold for you. And sex magic is really about energy, because sexual energy is very, very potent creative life force energy. I mean, we can create a whole new human being with it, so we could really create anything with it. And when we bring our intentions and that which we want to co-create with the universe, I like to use the word co-create rather than manifest, because we already are manifest. I mean, here you are.
Overplayed manifestation.
And what we're doing really is we're taking that juicy, vibrant, like orgastic and aroused state of charge in our bodies, and we're moving it through our bodies and connecting with this greater sphere of infinite possibilities. And we have a vision in mind. We have some clarity. We know what we want. We want to create this kind of relationship. We want to create this kind of home space. We want to create this kind of financial freedom and abundance, whatever it is that we really desire, that our heart really desires. And sometimes when we have very specific dreams and visions that we want to create, we can't see how it's going to happen. We have no idea, like, okay, that's nice, but how am I going to do that? And so the sex magic really pushes the how to the side. Like, let's just put the how over here on the side table, and let's just get into the frequency, and let's get into the emotional feeling in our bodies, and let's get into the higher conscious thought patterns that are actually going to deliver this message into the field, which has so much more wisdom than any one of us alone. And then we're pulling from the wisdom and we're giving back to the wisdom. So there's this beautiful exchange that's happening energetically between you and this field of infinite possibilities and this pure consciousness, which is the Tao or the universe. And as we do that, then after we do a sex magic practice, and you can really speak to this, Lisa, because as you just said, you've seen your life changed like exponentially since you've been doing this practice. You can start to see, like, wow, things are just showing up. I didn't even have to try to make that piece of the puzzle come together, but here it is. It's right here. And now the next piece of the puzzle is going to come together. And so as you continue the practice, you are continuing to build this beautiful 5,000 piece puzzle with the universe. And, it's like you put a piece in place and the universe put 5 pieces in place. And before you know it, it's complete.
Yeah. And I love the piece about, like, I play a lot with how is never any of our business. Like, that's entirely up to, the collective, the universal intelligence to bring forth. And what I love is as an energetic in my blueprint and as an energy healer for 30 years, like, it brings together all of the essence and the remembrance, and it so overrides the generating of the mind to figure out, like, really putting us, I mean, as we move into this 5D higher dimensionality experience, we're becoming more sentient. Like the 3D is the thought, it's the mind, it's figuring it out, right? Spirit keeps saying in this higher dimensionality, we reconfigure it from within. So the essence, the coming into our energetics of knowing that everything is frequency, and when our frequencies are aligned in the highest possible place, that's when the magic happens. And how it's delivered is really, it's also brought me into this feminine frequency and flow of becoming more receptive, of not like, I'm really good at generating, figuring out how to go after and do from a masculine that's been way at the table for most of my life. And now I'm reconfiguring into that feminine flow. And I believe that this process of sex magic brings us into that essence, because it takes the mind right out of it, because we're in the feeling state.
Yeah.
We're riding and harnessing the energies of our body. I also feel really called to talk a little bit about, like, as an energetic in it and how we get into the energies. Like for me, it's meditation first. Like my meditation is first. Gaia has shown me how to connect my womb into her womb space energetically. And I use Kundalini energy to get there. So there's a connection into Gaia first.
Yes.
And she said to me in this practice, like, the wombs of the women and wombs of humanity, because the masculine has a womb essence as well. It's just a lot different. And my womb must beat as one. She said, when the wombs are all beating as one, the new earth shall be birthed through us. And so I keep going back to, like, not only is this serving me and my awakening and my divine feminine creation, it's also in service to Gaia. So whatever is experiencing, releasing, healing, within myself, I also feel like I'm being a contribution to her. So I want to talk about that connection, the meditation piece. Like I bring in all the divine mothers and Yeshua and Magdalene. And, it's really like having an experience of being one with the universe.
Yeah.
And then breath, like sipping the cups and bringing the energy up through the chakra systems and bringing them up. So, I think people think like sex, but let's talk about how we get to that place.
Yeah. So first of all, sex magic is an ancient practice. We're not making this up. It's not something new. It's very, very old, 5,000 years old or more. It comes from Tantra. So it comes from Ayurvedic and an Indian tradition, which, some people think maybe it just came from the Himalayas. So maybe it's all from Tibet, maybe all this Chinese medicine and Taoism and Ayurvedic medicine is actually coming from Tibet as the pinnacle point. We don't know. But anyway, that aside, this ancient tantric practice is made up of two legs. So there's white tantra and there's red tantra. And so white tantra is what you're talking about right now. It's this practice of meditation, of being connected to the earth, of being connected to your guides, being connected to spirit and higher consciousness and breath, and getting in touch with any kind of practice where you're cultivating your own essence. Could be Qigong, Tai Chi, yoga, could be swimming, could be running, could be anything that you're getting in touch with, cultivating your essence, because essence is sexual energy. So one thing I always have my new clients do is like draw a picture of your essence. What does your essence look like? What is your essence doing? Most people haven't really thought about, what is my essence? Yeah. So when you have a clear vision and a clear relationship with your own essence, then you do meditation, then you do breath work, Qigong, whatever you do, and you're really cultivating your essence. Then you're bringing a highly cultivated individual being, yourself, to the table for red tantra. So red tantra is when you are with another person, whether it's a tantra buddy or a beloved or, your husband of 25 years or your wife of 5 years. Like, this is your opportunity to bring your highly cultivated essence into the hands of another person. And what you're doing at that point is you're actually cultivating your essence even more in the hands of somebody else. Like, they're holding this form and this structure for you now. They're holding this container for you. And you get to continue to open up and weave your essence deeper into your cellular being. So it's really about strengthening your high self.
And also I love the differentiation between the two, because really understanding this is a practice of self first. And then, or I mean, it doesn't have to be first. For me, it was a practice of self. So I could really get into the embodiment of the experience. But then to attract another at that frequency is like very high attraction. You might actually use the sex magic to attract a beloved into your life who has the capacity to hold that frequency, which is another opportunity into itself. And I also want to say that back in the temple times, so my experience through this is back to the Isis temple times and the Magdalene and the priestess kind of pathway of it. And to remember that this was used as a way to evolve spiritual creation and to actually prepare the masculine to go off to battle. Sometimes it was like they would come into the temples to find their strength and their vigor through the practice of tantra and through the remembrance and the reclamation and harnessing energy for an outcome or for, you know, like creating that ball of energy and then using it in a way that is wanting to be used outside of, you know, whatever experience it was. So I love that we're taking the ancient and bringing it to the modern. What would you say, how would you suggest people get started?
So, I mean, sex magic can really range. I mean, you can really get creative with it. It's a creative process. So, first, I would recommend that you get really clear about what you want to be making love to. Is it you're calling in a beloved, or you're calling in financial freedom? What are you calling in? You know, so get really clear.
I mean, when you talked originally about like healing the wounds with your mother or your father, like I really want to bring that piece of how much healing is available when you tap this essence of your own being.
Yes. Yes. And pleasure can be so healing. You know, healing doesn't have to be a painful process. It could be a really joyful, pleasurable process as well. I'm a big advocate of that. So anyway, as you get really clear, like maybe you write it out in a journal, or maybe you make a vision board, or maybe you put an altar together that represents, you know, I'm calling in the financial abundance. You better spread some hundreds out on that altar. You know, whatever it is, like get a visual so that when you get into your sex magic practice, you have a visual that you're making love to. And then you can start by, sorry, there's a little sound. So you can start by just meditation, breath work, whatever, getting tuned into your own center and core, and then putting on some music that moves your body and start to move your body and just move from that place of stillness into some movement and let that movement take you away. And then the next piece would be to bring in some oil and start to love your body. So this is a practice if you're doing it by yourself. Really just start to love your body and bring that magic into your soma, into your cells, and spread it around, spread it into all the little nooks and crannies of yourself. And then once you feel like you're kind of juiced up and you're ripe and you're in your body and you're not really in your head anymore thinking about what you're doing, you're just letting the energy and the music and everything move you, then you can, you know, bring your arousal energy to this visual, to the altar, to the vision board, or whatever it is. Bring this arousal energy to it. And if you Rita, or you happen to be on your period, or you have some kind of fluids, or you're a man and you ejaculate, you can actually smear that fluid on the vision board or on the journal pages or on the altar somewhere. You can put it on there to make it stronger. When you're doing this with another person, it's really nice because let's say, you know, person A wants to call in the financial freedom and abundance, and person B wants to call in, you know, maybe they want to call in a new home, so, or more health or something. So they can have different things that they're calling in. And when person A is in a highly aroused state, then person B is really holding and visualizing, oh yeah, you're calling in financial abundance. Okay, let's really, I'm going to see that for you. I'm going to evoke that for you. As I have invoked the spirits within myself and my own power and essence as a creator, creatrix, I'm going to evoke that you have all these, like, the feelings and the attributes that you will have when you have that financial freedom. And then when person B is in their highly aroused state, getting close to orgasm, then person A can really visualize and see. Because when you're in that orgastic aroused state, you don't want to be really thinking about, oh yeah, and the thing that I'm calling in, it's just like,
it's about that focus. I think that focus piece is what, like, keep coming back to the intention, be so clear about the intention, and actually using these energetics of release and of presence and of pulse within the body as the stream, the mechanism for the creation. Like, you keep coming back to what the intention is, and then to have another person hold space for that is, huge and highly delicious. So
highly delicious. Yeah. So you have a webinar or something coming up on sex magic.
Yeah, I have a masterclass coming up on the 29th.
Nice.
It's a free masterclass, and it's the steps that I walked through for my own reclamation. And yeah, bringing in the awareness at the next level and giving some guidance and a transmission for some womb. Like, I will walk people through how to connect energetically from the womb space to the womb of Gaia. And because that for me was the start of everything. I was like in co-creation from that point. And so live masterclass on the 29th. The link's in my bios and all around wherever you're watching this.
Sweet. Yeah. And I just led a class on this yesterday, a 30-day challenge with my erotic empowerment circle group. So if anybody wants to go and grab that, you can just sign up for the free 2 weeks and go and watch that and take notes and get the whole rundown of the 30-day sex magic practice. That is not so much what I just talked about. It's more of like a bite-sized way to infuse this into your life. And really, really great meditation in there as well. So go check that out. That's in my link tree as well. And if you can't find it, just shoot me a private message. We'll get right over to you.
Happy creating and enjoy the magic.
Enjoy the gratitude.
Oh, and happy Thanksgiving and happy gratitude week. Yeah. Love to all.
Ciao.
Bye for now.